Long ago, the master was residing in the peaceful monastery of Jetavana. The serene courtyards and tall shade trees had soothed countless troubled minds over the years. On one particular day, a weary disciple came before the master with sagging shoulders and downcast eyes. This disciple seemed ready to abandon all effort and withdraw from his practice. He appeared to believe that no amount of striving could move him past his burdens. Those who observed him felt that he had lost the inner drive to continue on his path. Observing this brother's plight, the master decided to share an example from the distant past. He felt that the disciple, as well as others, might learn a lasting lesson if they heard how powerful determined effort could be. He recalled an old tale from when he had taken birth as a noble creature, and he prepared to speak these events as if they were unfolding before everyone's eyes. Thus, the monastery fell silent. Even the birds seemed to pause. In low, steady tones, the master started describing a siege, a warrior's courage, and a horse of extraordinary spirit. His purpose was clear: to show that perseverance could be found under the harshest circumstances, and that true nobility of heart was not the property of human beings alone. Many ages ago, when King Brahmadatta was ruling in Benares, trouble descended upon the kingdom. A coalition of 7 rival kings, each seeking to expand his domain, converged on the city walls. They positioned their armies in a circle, creating a tight blockade. Citizens watched in dread as these armies set up camps all around, cutting off routes that once offered trade and contact with the outside world. Inside the city, panic began to rise. Food stores were guarded with care, and even the most optimistic saw that defense would not be easy. From the ramparts, the king's soldiers scanned the horizon, noticing that the enemy flags flew high in 7 distinct encampments. People wondered how their single city could withstand such a show of force. Yet, King Brahmadatta believed that there was still strength within Benares and that a resourceful strategy could save them. At that time, there was a skilled warrior within the city. He had a chariot drawn by 2 Sind horses. These horses were a pair of brothers, bred from a line known for loyalty and might. Among them, the elder horse truly stood out, for he held a wisdom that many believed came from some deeper source. This elder horse, unknown to most around him, carried the spirit of the Bodhisatta, the future Buddha, in that lifetime. One day, when the siege had grown too tense to ignore, King Brahmadatta summoned the charioteer to his palace. He conferred with his generals and decided that it was time to strike a decisive blow. The king believed that if a skilled fighter could ride out and break at least a portion of the enemy lines, it might sow confusion in the 7 camps, perhaps even cause them to doubt their own positions. The charioteer accepted the assignment, prepared his weapons and chariot. He harnessed the 2 Sind horses, trusting that their combined strength would give him the edge needed to face overwhelming odds. As the chariot wheels rolled forward, many onlookers felt both admiration and concern. The gates opened, and the warrior, standing tall in his chariot, guided the horses into the open field. Armed with courage shaped by years of training, he advanced toward the first enemy camp. Swiftly, with the help of his loyal horses, he overwhelmed that camp and captured its king. The watchers on the walls gasped in amazement. He pressed on to the 2nd camp, then the 3rd, and continued onward until the 6th camp fell. Each time, he returned with another captured king, securing them in the city. The swirl of dust and the clash of arms surrounded the warrior, but the chariot prevailed. propelled by the synergy between the charioteer's skill and the horse's might. However, during this unstoppable charge, the elder horse sustained a grievous wound. Arrows, spears, and stray blows had found horse's body as their target. Despite the pain, the horse did not falter. Some observers later thought it a miracle that even wounded, the elder horse continued to push forward. But at the king's gate, the charioteer, noticing the severity of the injury, felt he should let the elder horse rest. He unfastened the horse's mail and laid the noble creature on one side to recover, intending to replace him with another, younger horse, who had not yet seen battle that day. At that moment, the elder horse sensed what was happening. Although the pain was severe and the wound felt like fire, the Bodhisatta recognized a higher purpose at stake. There was still one enemy king standing, the seventh, and Benares would remain in peril if that king's forces were not broken. As he lay there, the Bodhisatta indicated to the charioteer that this was not a time for rest or replacement. He conveyed his unwavering desire to continue. The charioteer, remembering how the elder horse had already conquered 6 enemy camps, understood the Bodhisatta's steadfast commitment. Gathering his courage, he did as the horse wished. He gently harnessed the wounded elder horse once more, ensuring that the battered armor was adjusted as carefully as possible. Then, with a wordless wish for protection, he turned the chariot back onto the field of battle. The final enemy camp was the strongest of the 7. Its king had watched in shock as his allies had fallen. Yet the chariot raced onward, guided by the unwavering will of both the warrior and the elder horse. With a thunder of hooves, the chariot cut through the final camp's defenses. The warrior advanced fearlessly, and the elder horse pressed ahead, ignoring the pain surging through his body. At last, the 7th king was brought down and taken captive. Bloodied but unbowed, the elder horse managed to return to the palace gate. The charioteer carefully brought the horse down from the harness and laid him on a soft patch of grass. Onlookers hurried forward to see if the horse's wound could be treated. The king himself approached. Though nearing death, the Bodhisatta advised King Brahmadatta that perseverance protects noble causes, teaching bravery through endurance despite pain. Soon after, the elder horse died. Deeply moved, the king honored him with a respectful funeral for saving the city. Inspired by the Bodhisatta's wisdom, King Brahmadatta ruled fairly and compassionately, mindful of the loyalty and sacrifice that ensured peace. For years, the people of Benares remembered the courageous elder horse who persevered despite grave injuries. The master concluded by revealing the elder horse was himself in a previous birth, highlighting perseverance and compassion. Inspired by this story, the discouraged disciple regained determination, recognizing hardship as a challenge rather than an endpoint, bringing joy and relief to the community.